Welcome back. UFC Fight Night London. Sean Brady versus Leon Edwards just took place. Sean Brady won by a round 4 mounted guillotine choke, which Leon Edwards tapped out to. Great win for Sean Brady. I went 8-5 total on the card. I'm going to break down every single fight that happened on this card, give you my recap and reaction to what went down. So let me jump right into it. There was some upsets, there was some fouls, there was some nice wins for some people on this card. Let me jump right into it, though. I'm not going to start with the main event. I'm going to start with the first fight in the night, and I'm going to work my way up to the main event. So without further ado, first fight, we had Guram Kutateladze versus Cowie Fernandez, and this was an upset because Cowie Fernandez was, I think it was like a plus 300 on the sports books. He was a big underdog. Guram did not look good at all. Cowie was the more versatile guy. He was striking at range, like throwing out rangier jabs. Then Guram was just shelled up like this, trying to get in like really close range and just letting his head get snapped back. And did Cowie get a knocked? He knocked down Guram twice in this fight with leg kicks. He knocked him down in the first round with one of a leg kick to the lead leg of his, which was at the time, it was his left leg. He was in a normal orthodox stance. He got knocked down from, it was like one of the first leg kicks he took. He got knocked down. And then he gets back up. Second round, he still gets beat up. Third round, he gets dropped with a leg kick to the right leg. So both legs were so compromised from Cowie's kicks that he gets dropped from a fucking leg kick. 2 knockdowns in this fight, both for Cowie Fernandez, both because of leg kicks. And Cowie nearly gets a finish in the first round, ends up taking home decision win. Good win for him. Maybe I keep saying this to some of these prospects. Maybe I have to give this guy some credit. I guess I do. But Cowie Fernandez beats Guram Kutateladze. Yeah. Maybe Guram gets a bit less credit than we actually were giving him because of... We'll see later in this card because his last win was Vucenic, right? We'll see how Vucenic aged later in this card here. But this fight, Nathan Fletcher, Calvin Loughran. Oh my god. I said I was going to do a video on fouls. I was actually wondering if I was going to follow through with it or not. This is just more evidence. This is another piece of evidence added to the list. You know, compile this one into the evidence list. Calvin Loughran in the second round held Nathan Fletcher's glove for at least 30 seconds to a minute of this fight, while Nathan Fletcher had a backpack position on Calvin Loughran, going for a rear naked choke. Calvin Loughran is just egregiously grabbing the glove of Nathan Fletcher, preventing him from using one of his fucking arms. And the referee's not saying a single thing. The referee didn't say one warning for that entire time, and it was clear as day. The referee was looking at him, holding his glove, just like this. You could see Cowlin's hand coming up like this. Like imagine this hand is Fletcher, this hand is Cowlin. You know, this is, and I'm just grabbing the glove. I'm just here grabbing Nathan Fletcher's glove for a whole minute, you know, and the referee's not doing a single thing. It's egregious. It needs to come to an end. Fouls need to be enforced in MMA or they're not fouls. If they're not punished, they're not fouls. People will not, people aren't gonna listen to these rules if they're not enforced, you know? People are, if the referee isn't gonna stop a fight over someone hooking someone's glove, of course a fighter's gonna hook someone's glove and do it until if a referee doesn't tell them not to, they're going to continue to hook someone's glove. So Loughran was hooking his glove for a minute or two while Fletcher was going for a submission. Fletcher didn't end up getting the submission in the second round, and he ends up getting robbed on the judges' scorecards instead. So he takes home a loss because, like, if he got a point deducted, if the referee enforced the rules, maybe Calvin Loughran, well, Calvin would have lost the decision if he lost a point here. And if he had got told to not hook the glove and they gave the position back to Fletcher, maybe Fletcher could have got the sub. You know, this changes the fight drastically. So it pisses me off when a referee doesn't fucking enforce the rules. This is their job. This is their job. All they have to do is watch the fight, and when they see a foul, step in. You know? You're not allowed to grab someone's glove in MMA. It's not allowed. Calvin Loughran egregiously grabs the glove of Nathan Fletcher during a rear naked choke for like a minute. Very sad. It's going to be part of the video of fouls in MMA. I'll be doing it soon. Look out for that soon. Anyways, next fight, we had Shauna Bannon versus Pooja Tomar. Shauna Bannon, she thought she was Chun-Li. Doing this fucking... See this? Doing this, like, side kick. She was doing this whole fight. You guys know what I mean? Ha 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 ha! Like, she's just throwing this leg up, leading with this fucking side kick, throwing it to the body. It's doing no damage. She might have landed one in the first round to the face of Pooja Tomar. It was like a sweet chin music, Shawn Michaels style. And that was the biggest damaging shot before Pooja Tomar's head kick. Because in that second round, I think it was second round where it happened, Pooja Tomar throws a head kick on Shauna Bannon and knocks her the fuck down. Pretty sure she might have been out for a second. She doesn't know how to capitalize on the ground, though. She doesn't know ground and pound. She's never done it. She's never learned it before. So she gets on top of Shauna Bannon, and instead of throwing ground and pound, she proceeds to put her arm in between Shauna Bannon's legs and pretty much let Shauna Bannon armbar her for the victory. So, yeah, Pooja Tomar gives this... She knew she lost the last fight. She knew she got a robbery win. So she pretty much gave a victory to Shauna Bannon in this fight. Because this was a round 2 head kick knockout for Pooja Tomar. Or should have been, at least. I threw my headset. I have a video of it. I threw my headset off. I went crazy. I was not happy when Pooja landed that head kick. But then she put her arm into a armbar and just gave Shauna Bannon the win in return. It's like, thank you for landing me. Let a kick on you. Here's the win, Shauna Bannon. That's pretty much what happened. So Pooja Tomar gives up a win. Shauna Bannon takes home a submission win. Good win for Shauna Bannon. I don't know. She's not that good, though. She was just doing this. Literally, all she did this entire fight was throw this stupid fucking side kick, which, this is the best description I have, is Chun-Li. She was playing Street Fighter 2 in her training camp, and she got a little sidetracked. Because that's all she was doing, and it was so egregious. They had her up in the numbers, but I don't know, man. Before this finish, I was sweating. I was really upset about Shauna Bannon. I did not think she was doing good. But she ends up getting it done. So good win for Shauna Bannon, I guess. And then Christian Leroy Duncan beats Puliaev up. Puliaev couldn't hang, man. I guess maybe, I don't know why they rushed him this much. Because CLD, like, he lost his last one. He's lost 2 in the UFC. But he's had, like, 4 UFC fights at this point. And Puliaev's coming off a Dana White Contender Series. And it was a close fight. But CLD just beat him up. Really close finishing moment in the third round, right at the end of the third round with like 10 seconds left, but he didn't get it. Takes home a decision win instead. And I'll move on to this next one, which I have a sour taste about. Mick Parkin and Marcin Tybura, which I will actually, instead, I'll go on to UFCstats.com for this one, just to get the full picture of what I'm saying in this fight. Mick Parkin got robbed in this fight against Marcin Tybura. I don't think Marcin Tybura should have won this fight. For some reason, it was a unanimous decision win for Marcin Tybura, 29-28. And I don't see how. You know, I think it was a closer decision to a 30-27 Mick Parkin than it was to a 29-28 Marcin Tybura. I think it was. I think it was a closer to 30-27 Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin won the second round very clearly. Outstruck him by double the strikes, landed the better, like 30 more total strikes, the better shots, had a takedown of his own in the second round. Very clear second round. So that's no argument. Third round, Marcin Tybura, it says he outstruck him by 10 significant strikes. I'm not too sure. I was watching that round. It didn't seem like Marcin Tybura was doing anything crazy. And in the final minute, Mick Parkin ended up landing a lot of total strikes in that last minute. Marcin Tybura took the leg of Mick Parkin, but Mick Parkin was on his feet and he was landing strikes on Marcin's face in the last 20 seconds of the fight as well. And he ended up landing more total strikes in the third round as well. And in the first round, Mick Parkin landed the better shots in the first round, more significant strikes, more total strikes. And the one takedown that Marcin Tybura had was in the last like 10-15 seconds of the round, where he did absolutely nothing with it. I don't get how Marcin won this fight. I don't get how it was a unanimous decision. I think Mike Parkin should have won this fight. I'm upset about it. I think it was a robbery. I think Mike Parkin should have won this fight. But what will you do? What will you do, I guess? The judges saw something else that I didn't. So yeah, Marcin takes home a decision win over Mick Parkin, gives him his first loss. Even though Mick Parkin I thought clearly should have won that fight by a 29-28 decision. Or a 30-27. It was closer to a 30-27 than a 29-28 Tybura. Moving on to the next fight. Loner Kavanagh, Felipe Dos Santos. It was a pretty good fight. This was a great fight. Felipe Dos Santos landed a nice spinning back elbow in the first round. Split open Kavanagh on his head. In his scalp, actually. Like in his hairline. He was bleeding the whole fight for it. Second round, Kavanagh does really good work on top of Dos Santos. A lot of good elbows and ground and pound on Dos Santos. And then third round, a bit more of the same. Rinse and repeat, a couple takedowns. And he takes home a decision win. Good win for him. It was a close fight, though. Was it a split decision? I think it might have been a split decision, actually. But that was a good win for Loner Kavanagh. And yeah, I think he'll improve from this. Like, Dos Santos is a good prospect. Like, he's a good name to have on the record. You know, like a Manel Kopp had a really close fight with him, as well as Victor Altamirano. Like, all of his fights are really close. So Kavanagh takes this one home, and it was a pretty dominant second and third round. It was unanimous. It wasn't a split. But then we have Jai Herbert, Chris Padilla. This was a split. This was a really close fight, too. I had Chris Padilla inside the distance. Obviously, didn't happen. Round one, he nearly had... he had Jai stumbled a couple times in the fight. But he didn't end up getting the finish. It was really close. But Chris Padilla just did a bit more every single round, man. He's so versatile. Jai had the height and the reach advantage here, but Chris Padilla, he just was able to mix it up a bit better. And people can't keep underestimating this guy. He's very good. I won't spend too much time on that one, not too much to say on it. But the next one, I was like 50-50 for a lot of these fights until like the last couple. But Morgan Charrier, why did I pick this guy? Nathaniel Wood just beat him up. I thought Charrier would outbox him. Nope. Nathaniel Wood knocked him down immediately with... It's a veteran move what he knocked him down with. It was like a body kick, and then he landed the body kick and then comes down with it was like a Superman off of the body kick pretty much, because Wood threw it before his foot touched the ground. So it's almost a Superman that way. And he knocks down Charrier in the first round, nearly finishes him, ends up just beating him up over the course of 3 rounds and taking home a 30-27 decision win. Not much to say there. Charrier landed like 2 elbows that were good in the fight, maybe. It says he landed 69 strikes, but I think only 2 of those were good, and those were the elbows that he landed. And then moving on to the next one, to the next fight, which is just a very sad one, Jordan Vucenic and Chris Duncan. I was huge on Jordan Vucenic, and he disappointed me. And actually, what I just said about the Superman off of the body kick was actually what Chris Duncan did. That was not what Nathaniel Wood did. I am completely mixing that up in my head. Nathaniel Wood knocked him down with a right hand. Chris Duncan knocked Vucenic down with the Superman, and then the right hand followed after. The kick to the body before his foot touched the ground. Vucenic just could not hang, man. Chris Duncan takes home a submission win over Vucenic in the second round. Sad stuff. I really thought Vucenic would get this done. He could not hang. And moving on to the next one, Thainara versus Molly McCann. I had Thainara in this one. This was a good pick. Thainara was on a week's notice, but Molly McCann, man, she's not good. She's lost to Julia Stoliarenko. She put herself in an armbar in that one. Thainara did really good work. She got a takedown, and then I think it was a triangle choke. I'm pretty sure it was a triangle choke that she had on Molly McCann that she ends up making her tap out to. And Molly McCann, very unexpected, she puts her gloves down. And she didn't say the word retire, which in my head means that she's going to go knock out some random regional British WMMA fighters, you know. That's where my mind immediately goes, because she didn't say the word retire, I don't think. So I'm thinking she's going to go fight in some random promotion in, like, Europe, in Liverpool, and get some easy wins, maybe. Or she's done with MMA, I don't know. But she didn't say the word retire, I don't think. But they nail her with a nice submission win in the first round over Molly McCann. Or it was a rear naked choke, actually, wasn't it? It was a rear naked choke, I think. It was a rear naked choke. Not a triangle choke. It was a rear naked choke. I'm remembering this card as I go along here. I just did the live stream and all that, so like my brain's kind of jumbled. So don't judge me too much for if I say a submission and it wasn't actually the same submission that it happened to be. But I think that was a rear naked choke, actually. It wasn't an arm triangle. It was a rear naked choke. And the next one, we got Kevin Holland, Gunnar Nelson. I had Kevin Holland by KO. Didn't end up being a KO win. I was surprised about it. Very close. Gunnar Nelson nearly had a submission in early on, or he had a takedown attempt in the first round. I don't think he had a submission attempt in the first round, and then he gets back up to his feet, and then Kevin Holland knocks him down at the end of the first round with it was a left hook that barely touched, and then a right hand. It was the right cross that knocked him down. And then not enough time to finish him with ground strikes. Second round, I can't remember when the submission attempt was for Gunnar Nelson. It might have been, was it third round? Yeah, it was third round. Or they don't have it. It doesn't say. It doesn't say on here if it. I can't remember which round it was though. I can probably find it here. It was what round was it? Submission attempts. It was round 3, yeah. But Gunnar Nelson couldn't get it done. He just wasn't throwing enough strikes. You know, if you look at the strikes, 7 to 73, it's just not enough. You're not going to win a fight off of that. Kevin Holland was able to take home a decision win. Good win for him. He says he'll go back up to 185 if it's not a grappler, if it's just a striker. I'll probably pick against you next time, Kevin. We'll see who you get. It depends who you get. But I might pick against you next time, Kevin. This was fun while it lasted. And we move on to the co-main event. Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. I told you guys, Jan Blachowicz was 42 years old. There was no chance he's beating Carlos Ulberg. It was a pretty close fight, though. It was a pretty close fight. Carlos, before the fight, was minus 400. And then during the fight, he didn't break a minus 200. He was minus 180, minus 160. I think I saw him get to a minus 115 at one point. But I already had my money in on Carlos at minus 400. And he ends up just outstriking Jan Blachowicz. Round 1 might have gone to Jan, but round 2 and 3 were clearly Carlos. He outstruck him 3-2 in the third round and like 3-2 in the second round as well. And just takes home a decision win. Nothing like crazy impressive, but like he outstruck Jan Blachowicz. I mean, he was 42 years old, but people didn't think it was a factor before the fight. So obviously they won't think it's a factor after the fight, right? That's not going to be a thing. They're not going to say, "Oh, he's 42 years old. He was so washed," right? Because people were picking Jan. People were picking Jan. It's not going to be the same people picking Jan to win the fight against Carlos Ulberg that are going to be saying that he's 42 years old and he was washed as fuck and all that, right? That's truly not how it's going to go, right? That's totally how it's going to go. That's the point I'm making. People are going to say Jan's washed and all that, and I do understand. I was saying the same thing. But people are also picking him to win, so it doesn't make sense people are going to flip-flop that hard. Carlos Ulberg took it home by decision. In hindsight, why are you picking a 42-year-old to win a fight? And we move on to the main event. Again, hindsight 2020. Sean Brady takes home a submission win over Leon Edwards. I thought it was going to be a decision, but Sean Brady just... Damn, his takedowns are fucking dominant, man. And Leon's got nothing to stop him. Leon got taken down 10 times last fight against Bilal Muhammad. And Sean Brady just... His game plan's incredible. The first couple minutes of the first round, he didn't shoot at all. Until the final, 2 minutes of the first round, I think. and maybe even the final minute of the first round. And then he gets a takedown in the first round, and then second round gets 2, third round gets 1, but he shoots 2, fourth round gets another 1, and then he gets a submission in the fourth round. He was just rinse and repeating takedowns. This is how I thought it was going to go, but I was getting worried about it as the week went on. But Leon might have staff. But man, so many people were taking Leon, and people were talking about Leon on the feet and all that. There's an idea of Leon, but then there's Leon Edwards. He's not actually that good on the feet, guys. And against a dominant grappler, like, these are the types of fighters to beat Leon Edwards, are these grappling types, the guys that can shoot takedowns and keep him on the mat. And Sean Brady's top game is incredible. So in hindsight, this is an incredible pick. Shun yourself. Tisk if you pick Leon Edwards in this fight. Sean Brady looked incredible against Gilbert Burns. And people are going to say it's Gilbert Burns, but he got 7 takedowns against him. Great win for Sean Brady. I was expecting it to be a bit closer. It was not close at all. After the first round, it was very clear who was winning this fight. Leon had nothing for him in the grappling. And then he ended up tapping out to a fucking guillotine choke in the fourth round. A mounted guillotine choke in the fourth round. He taps out to it. It's insane, man. The fall off needs to be studied. Leon Edwards was champion a year ago. The fall off needs to be studied, man. People can't blame it on a fucking 5 a.m. Time zone, him fighting in London at 5 a.m. anymore. People can't blame it on that, at least. So, sucks to suck, Leon. Take the L, buddy. Anyways, Sean Brady gets a submission win in the fourth round. Great win. I went 8-5 total. I think I still went negative on the card, like, betting wise. I had a couple bad bets in there. Let me pull up my bets and just go through them real quick. I had Fletcher money. If I didn't get robbed, I would be on a much better standing, is the thing. If I didn't get robbed in 2 of these fights, I would be in a much better standing. But since I got robbed in a Fletcher and McParkin fight, I went negative betting-wise on the card. Because I had Fletcher money line. I also had the submission prop. And since the referee didn't enforce the rules, the submission didn't hit. Bannon decision didn't hit because she got the submission win after a head kick knockdown from Pooja Tomar. Parkin moneyline didn't hit because of a brutal robbery on the judge's side. Did not think Tibura won that shit. Padilla inside the distance didn't hit. Vucenic by submission didn't hit. Holland moneyline hit. Holland by KO didn't hit. It was very close to hitting, though. And the long shot submission parlay obviously didn't hit either. Vucenic submission, Thainara submission, Fletcher submission. It was close. Thainara got the sub. Fletcher was very close to getting the sub. Vucenic would have lost anyways, though. But if I got the Fletcher money line and the Parkin money line, I would be in a much better standing. But because I didn't, I am negative on the card, unfortunately. But anyways, 8-5 total. Ended up like the last couple fights we won. So, momentum wise, we ended up hot. It was not a bad card overall. I think I had fun watching it. Let me know what you guys thought of the card overall. What you thought of my recap. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you haven't. Let me know what you thought of my recap, as I just said. And, yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.